Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to Daybreak Extra on Trust TV, coming to you live from our studio here in the nation's capital. Of course, it's a beautiful, lovely Saturday morning, a very okay one, I would say, not too chill and not too hot. It's just right temperature, and we're loving it. Here from our studio, of course, I'm not alone. Yes, I am Sumaya Abubakar, and we'll promise to bring you interesting stuff today. I'm not alone as usual, but today I'm joined with, by a beautiful, amazing, lovely lady here.
Oh, really? Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Nigeria. I am Dana Daniel Ziggy, and welcome to Daybreak Extra.
So how are you, Dana?
I'm doing well, thank you.
How are you expecting the show to be? Because this is our first time,
Definitely. With someone like you, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. Don't go nowhere. Promises to really be an interesting one because we have loads of lineups just for you. So don't go nowhere.
Yes, of course. So we'll be bringing you a dancer. Yes, we have a dancer who would, of course, be taking us through the journey of dancing and, the ups and downs that involves dancing as an occupation. And also we have entertainment gossip, that is, if time permits us. Let's not forget there would always be a call in. Yes, we'll get to open the line for you to call in to tell us about a topic that we tend to pick. So today, another interesting topic that we would like to hear from you as well. And hopefully, when you call and make your suggestions and all that, it gets to reach the appropriate authorities or persons that your advice or contribution could actually change a thing or two in our society. And of course, so we'll take a short break, but when we come back, we'll be bringing you what the dailies are saying today. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
not necessarily tribal or regional.
Welcome back to Daybreak Extra. Right now, we will bring you the top stories from different newspapers in the nation today. And as usual, we'll be starting with the Daily Trust newspaper. The headline there says, accidents persist as drivers abandon multi-billion naira trailer parks. The riders there says, cause gridlocks on Kano, Kaduna, Niger highways. Residents construct eateries, restroom, and wash bays. And menace will end soon, says FRSC. Now, these stories you'd find on page 5 and 6 of the newspaper. Above the headline there, it says, Tinubu's inauguration, Buhari family moved to glass house. This story you'd find on page 31 of the newspaper. Beside that, you'd see, will APC survive the discontent, acrimony over 10th National Assembly leadership? A good question right there. You'll find this story on page 33 of the newspaper. On the entertainment section, it says, why I use Hausa for my content on TikTok, says Bello Galadenchi. You find this story on page 16 of the newspaper there. And right below the marks is a Daily Trust, reminding the government that there are still people, should I say schoolgirls, in captivity. About 4 schoolgirls of FJC Birnin Yauri, and they've been in captivity for about 697 days. And 1 student of Bethel Baptist High School, Kujama, about 673 days in captivity. Really sad one there. We hope the government reached, they can see this and work on it. And at the bottom of the newspaper there we have Northwest deserves Senate presidency. Now this is been said by Abdul Aziz Yari, the former governor of Zamfara State and senator-elect of Zamfara West. Now this is some of the stories on Daily Trust today.
All right, next is the Punch, Saturday Punch, and the lead story there says Buhari changes residence, aides move out belongings from villa. And the writer there we have it. We won't wait for security officials' harassment before parking. That's the president's aide. And villa clinic relocated to 21 billion naira presidential suit. Tinubu to decide new furniture. And another story at the bottom of the Punch says how coffin makers laugh all the way to the bank. Wow, now that will be found on pages 20 to 21. So we have another story down there saying a friend advised me to poison my son. That's the mother of a boy with cerebral palsy. We're really sad there. And that will be found on page 24. Now, moving to the top of the Saturday Punch newspaper, we have the National Assembly leadership aggrieved APC aspirants may sponsor candidates against Akpabio and others, and that will be found on page 4. And moving to the other story, there we have Karim Madu's influence wouldn't have counted if trial in Nigeria, says Justice Taiwo, page 2 of the Punch. And this is some of the top stories in that newspaper.
All right, let's move to what the Nation is saying today. From the top there of the newspaper, we have Labour Party crisis deepens as court affirms Apapa chair. Writer there says the AG chairman summons LP lawyers and demands briefing on Obi's election petitions. This story you find on page 7 of the Nations. Beside that, you see, I must be president of Nigeria, Obi insists. Now you'll find this story on page 5 of the newspaper. The headline there says, NAS, why APC settled for Akpabio Abbas by Shetima. Now this is a story people would want to see the reason, considering there's been a lot of chaos in the National Assembly, or should I say the NWC meetings happening around. And the writers there says Rancoro's National Assembly will hurt Nigeria. And VP-elect pledges to reach out to aggrieved speaker aspirants in meeting with Abbas, Kalu and others. Now this story you'll find on page 4 of the newspaper. When you move down, you'd see confusion trails Emefele's alleged application for study leave. Really interesting one right there. It says the presidency denies knowledge of Buhari's approval of leave. Now this story you'd find on page 5 of the newspaper, and there is a pictorial of House of Reps Deputy Speaker Speakership aspirant Benjamin Kalu, aspirant of Speakership Tajuddin Abbas, a member-elect Adedeji Olajide, and Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima. Right there, and it says below it, you'd see, stop comparing my government with fire miss, says Oyebanji. It tells Ekiti people. You'll find the story on page 7 of the newspaper. Beside that, you'd see ahead of May 29, Buhari relocates to Glass House. Right there says presidency movement normal for outgoing presidents. Live transition. This story you'd find on page 29 of the newspaper, and at the bottom there you see project concession to raise 647 billion naira for federal government. You find the story on page 8 of the newspaper. Now these are some of the stories on Nations Today.
Up next, we have the Guardian newspaper, and the top story there says concerns over Buhari's last-minute contracts loans. That will be found on page 2, and some of the writers to that story says experts warn NAS against approving fresh request. Says country already struggling to repay existing loans. Now president's reasons for new loans lame, says Sislak. And another story there on the bottom of the page says Ekwere Madu taught English in Wandsworth prison, former inmate reveals. So we have other stories on The Guardian saying non-execution of condemned criminals, the cruelty, injustice and way forward. Okay, so we also have the story that says Joyce Kelechi Ozongwe, if you are married to a good man, support him. That is what she says there. And on the bottom of that newspaper, we have NIMET warns 12 northern states of thunderstorms, floods in May. And that will be found in page 5. That's really an interesting story there. And you would want to check out which northern states are those. This is what we have for the Guardian newspaper.
Okay, we move to the Vanguard Saturday. Start from the bottom. It says court jails 61-year-old cleric for impregnating 16-year-old girl. You find the story on page 9 of the newspaper. The headline there says North roars on APC. Grant us NAS leadership or we will withdraw support for party, says the governors. And the writers there says demands not negotiable as North not in charge of executive and judiciary. Another writer there says Tinubu may delay NAS proclamation over Akpabio, and Abbas moves against Adamu for instigating protests. You find all the stories on page 26 of the newspaper, and of course, you find some on page 5 as well. On the entertainment there, it says Agbani Derego inspired me, says Eme Ada, most beautiful girl in Nigeria winner. This story you'd find on page 20 of the newspaper. Below the marks there, it says telecoms operators disrupt banking services, withdraw USSD services to banks over 120 billion naira debt. You find this on page 26 of the newspaper, and with that story there, it comes with a pictorial of Dr. Isa Alipantami. Beside that, you'd see Maria Benjamin recounts ordeals after BB Niger experience. You find this on page 19 of the newspaper, and at the top of the newspaper there is insecurity, 1,230 killed and 658 abducted in 3 months. This says the report. A really sad one there. You would find the story on page 26 of the newspaper. Now we have May 29, 5 Abuja residents ask court to stop Tinubu's swearing in, and it seeks restraining order against CJN. This story you'd find on page 9 of the newspaper. Now these are some of the stories on the Vanguard today. And lastly, let's move to Punch Sports. It says there from the top, it says Aston Villa versus Spurs. Villains eye first double over Lily Whites. Beside that, you'd see Chelsea versus Nottingham. Dennis out as Forest Blues battle. You find the story on page 4 and 5 respectively. We have Rashford doubtful for Wolves clash. This story you'll find on page 4. The headline there says exclusive series Bridge Builders scorecard of Nigerian players to Stamford Bridge. You get the story on page 3 of the Punch Sports Extra. We have Haaland wins FWA POTM awards. Interesting. This story is on page 4. At the left side of the newspaper, it says Decision Day, Aribo Onuachu on the brink of relegation. This you find on page 5. We have Los Blancos eyes Olmo as Asensio replacement. This you find on page 4 of the newspaper. There is Silva wants Blues contract terminated. This story is on page 2 of the newspaper. We have Madrid favorites against City Cannavaro. You find this on page 3. At the bottom of the newspaper there, it says Messi to return against Ajaccio. This story is on page 2. And Danjuma picks Onyene Zide 19. Others for Wafubi Turney. This story is on page 6. And of course, the celebrity corner says why I'm in love with Arsenal football philosophy, says the actor Ezike Asiebu. Really interesting one there. Now, these are some of the stories on Punch Sports Extra. And with that, of course, we wrap up the top stories from different newspapers in the nation. But don't go nowhere. We'll be right back to analyze some of these stories. Stay with us.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
But in a situation where you find that they look like the same,
not necessarily tribal or regional.
but I have said that
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. So right now we move on to analyzing some of the top stories from the dailies today. And we'll start with accidents persist as drivers abandon multi-billion naira trailer parks. And it says it causes gridlocks in Kano, Kaduna, and Niger highways. Now, Dana, if you're traveling from Kaduna to Abuja here, you would see there is this place, I don't know if it's Tama or there's this place they call, I forgot, I know it starts with T, and you see trailers, packed, yes. And when you get there, you have to slow because they double park on each side of the road, and honestly, it's really bad. So when people are new in, coming to that road, when they are new to that road, they don't know how the road works, people will just come in high speed, and that could cause, accidents. It's really a sad one there.
I know the roads are mostly not as wide as would guarantee that. But then the disturbing issue would be that there are trailer parks for these cars, and then they choose to abandon that and choose to park by the roadside.
No, what it's saying is that they have abandoned the trailer park.
Yes,
I think the government has made a provision for the park to be there, but the project has not been completed. So right now there is no park for them. That's what the story is saying. There is no park for them to. So right now, people are calling on the government to, push on that project, make sure there is a trailer park, so that when the trailers, are done with their work, they can have a place to go and park, for people to have a clear and safe road, to drive on. Really sad.
That's really a necessary thing to do because their lives are involved here.
Yeah,
and it's really sad.
Okay, it says that. How bandits invaded Kagarko Emir Palace and abducted 3 daughters and 5 grandchildren. A really sad one. I remember the story says that his wife was also abducted, but she ran away. I think she escaped the abductees, the abductors rather. So it was really a sad one, and the Emir gets to sit down to talk about it. The Emir of Kagarko, His Royal Highness Alhaji Saadu Abubakar II. A really sad one there. The insecurity in especially the northern part of the country is really alarming.
Especially Kaduna. Kaduna has been on the news for so many incidents like this. And hopefully the 3 daughters and 5 grandchildren are rescued.
Yes, I think I read on a newspaper today saying that the governor, Rufai, and some of the emirs from all the other places, and I think some of the leaders from southern Kaduna have had a sit down to talk about the insecurities and how they can stop all these hostilities. And
honestly, hopefully this should be stopped because the back and forth of incidences like this in Kaduna and other northern states is alarming, and a lot of people are traumatized as a result of this. Think of if these people come out, what happens? These are children, 3 daughters, 5 grandchildren. They might be younger than maybe we think, and the trauma they would live in after this.
A lot of the girls that were abducted come back pregnant with kids. The trauma is just so sad. We just hope that they could. We hope that they'll get saved before any of that gets to them.
Hopefully.
Okay, let's talk numbers here. It says 1,441 people. FRSC said, that's a federal road safety, were killed between January and March 2023 in 2,733 crashes, with 8,339 others injured. There's a lot. There's been a lot of accidents.
Sometimes when the numbers are just called, it's important to know that these are people. These are human beings. It's not just 1,441. We're talking about people, lives involved.
A lot.
One after one, we have 1,441. That's a lot.
A lot. Sometimes it comes from maybe recklessness in driving. Sometimes it comes with bad road. The situation is just a sad one, and these numbers, how do we, try to reduce this kind of road accidents?
Sure.
It's something that I feel a conference needs to be organized.
There should be a deliberate conversation around this and how we would have less crashes on our roads.
Okay, another number there says 200 workers, Anambra State government intends to sack from state-owned National Light newspaper for not generating enough funds.
Wow.
Now we're talking about, I thought the government was working on, creating more jobs. Now you're talking about getting 200 more people out of job.
On the roads. Doing what?
Well, if you should sack them, you better look for something else to give them, because the insecurities in the country is really alarming.
Honestly.
And it's all lack of, job to do. And we've had stories of even the people that have work are also, doing bad stuff. Like the two, I think one was a naval officer and the other was a correctional officer that attacked someone, collected his car, and then asked him to send about 400,000 naira to their account. That happened in Delta State, which is really sad. So even people that have jobs are still tempted to do bad things.
Even with the job, talk about how comfortable the pay has been for these 200 people that are being intended to be sacked. So these people have families. They possibly have children. They possibly have people that depend on them. So if they lose this job, look at the whole drama that will happen for the people depending on them, for their own families, and for them.
True. A lot there. Okay, another number says 57 Nigerians selected for 2023 cohort of the Mandela Washington Fellowship Program in universities in United States. Okay, that's a good one. At least we get to hear a good story.
Yes, at least this is coming.
Of course. We have another number says 20 capital ships, 300 inshore patrol vessels the Nigerian Navy said were purchased for maritime security equipment under President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Well, the main point is security. So anything that would, secure people's life and property, then of course, it should be deployed. It should be done. Okay, it says Nigeria's oil production crashes to 0.9 mbpd as Angola leads Africa.
This is an interesting story, Sumaya. Means 0.9 million barrels per day. This is one thing Nigeria depends on.
Yes. This is what we keep bragging about.
Our economy in total depends on oil. And, a lot of quotas have called for diversification of the economy. And that seems to be slower than it should happen. And the country is still exploring more oil wells in different states. Yeah. And to know that as a country, we're investing a lot on that. And this is happening. We're still not leading in Africa.
Yes.
That is. You ask a lot of questions as to, are we not supposed to try and explore something else?
Yes.
Should diversification of the country's economy to other sectors not be something that we should be talking about at this point in time? Because this is a natural resource. Though we have it, anything can happen.
Yes, anything can happen. Honestly, I think that the government needs to work on... Well, anyways, the incoming government has a lot to do already. So it has to put, more effort in having other means, for Nigeria to depend on. We have textile. What happened? Let's bring textile back. People are pushing. And at that time, I remember our parents saying, Nigerian rappers was one of the best, in Africa. People come here to get them. Things like that could actually move us. Let's try to produce more and less consumption, right? Okay,
sure.
What about NYC at 50? Did you see that, the thing that was happening?
There's this trend on social media. It's
Everyone
really interesting.
Was just taking pictures of them with
You see people
NYC
going
uniform.
back to their archives to really bring up those pictures that they've not seen in a while, just to feel, I have also served.
Yes.
I have also served. So that trend is really interesting that there's something that brings everybody together. As a country, there's something that brings smiles on people's faces. There's something to remember, because it's beyond posting of these pictures. It's going back memory lane.
Yes,
it's thinking about all the experience, thinking about what happened during camp, that 1 year in a different land that you've not been to possibly before. And all of those memories are interesting, I think.
It is. It is. For me, I couldn't relate because I lost my phone and lost all my pictures of my NYC days.
Oh.
So I was asking if someone could borrow me the NYC uniform so that I can retake some pictures.
Oh my God.
But it was really interesting seeing people. Of course, I remember someone posting pictures, and some of her friends that they did serve together were sending her more pictures. She was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. So yes, I agree with the memory lane thing.
Luckily, really I still have mine. Interesting.
Okay, I want to watch them later, of course. All right, so these are some of the stories that we can take today, to analyze, of course, but don't go nowhere. The show continues. When we come back, we'll open the line with an interesting discussion. Stay with us.
Welcome back. It's still Daybreak Extra on Trust TV, live from our studios in Abuja. All right, next we will be talking about a An interesting topic, that's domestic violence. So now cases of domestic violence in Nigeria have taken an upward swing in recent weeks, especially the physical aspect of domestic violence. If it's not about a man beating a woman, it's sometimes also about a woman beating a man. Now, in most cases, the police nab and prosecute the culprits in accordance with the laws of the land. You find most marriages ending. Now, we have the stories on our newspapers daily. You have most marriages ending as a result of domestic violence. Now, this is the issue we will be looking at today. Feel free to call us and tell us what you think about domestic violence, what the causes of domestic violence are, and what can be done to put a stop to this disturbing issue. You can call us on the number displayed on your screen. And when you call, don't forget to please move away from your TV set so we get to interact with you. Sumaya, talking about this interesting issue, it's something that's really disturbing, actually.
Yeah, it is.
It has broken a lot of marriages.
It is. We've seen the situation. Okay, if it even leaves a broken marriage, it's different, you know, from somebody ending up getting hurt, you know, and even others are dead. It's really a sad situation. You remember years back when we had a situation of Mariam and Bilyamin, and that, you know, these people, everybody witnessed their love. Everyone, like, was
and
shocked. There was a testimony of this love story was a mind-blowing love story. What happened? How did it end with one hurting the other? So many people have gone through it. A lot of women have died in marriages. A lot of men have died in marriages. A lot of men are silent because they get hit by their wives and they can't say it publicly, like, my wife hit me, because they want to maintain the whole personality of I'm a man, you know, and all that. So if you don't tell people, how would it get solved? And other times the women are the one that get bashed, you get hit. There was a video of, I think, Instagram influencer Pinky. She was alive with about 3 guys, and then her boyfriend came. And the live video, our phone was still recording. The guy came and started hitting her, and they were fighting, and she was throwing insults at him, and he was punching her. And from the look of things, it didn't seem like it was something new. It seemed like something that has been happening.
Wow. It's right now becoming a norm. But then still talking about this, there are laws in the land. We have the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, that's the VAP 2015. And this gives protection for people against this kind of cases. And also in that VAPE Act, we have, I think, Section 19, subsection 1 and 2, which provides penalties for defaulters. It talks about, I think, not more than 3 years upon conviction, and also, or a fine of 200,000 naira,
which is a small fine, honestly. I think that's why
that's
people
something
are doing
that we should, because a lot of people have called for reviews of this laws to match what we have currently, or the current situation on ground. And also there is if there is an attempt for that, there's also not more than 1 year, I think, and then 100,000 fine. So okay, I think
honestly,
we'll hear
that looks small. See, if we go back to how, you know, the Westerners do this, let's take the USA for example. There is extreme law that goes beyond you just paying 100,000 fine and all that. It makes sure it gives you the punishment that tomorrow you wouldn't be tempted to do something like that.
When laws are put in place like this and people are punished for what they do, it serves as a deterrent to others. So definitely, you know, this happened to so-so person. No way, I don't want this to come my way. So I would rather not go into that. So, but when you have, like you said that there needs to be a review on that law.
True.
It's kind of
I know a situation where a couple, I think a wife went to the station to actually complain. Anyways, I think we have a caller already. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, I think we lost that caller. Please call the number on your screen to tell us what are the causes and what are the solutions, because we're not all about pointing out problems. We need the solutions, you know, because a lot of things are going on in this society. A lot of marriages that are, you know, breaking or breaking at the end of the love story. It all boils down to, should I say most of it anyways, all boils down to hitting each other, hating each other. And at what point would you look at your spouse to tell yourself, I am so angry that I have to hit your face?
Okay, we have this caller. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
My name is Usman Samtraki, calling from Yola, Adamawa State.
Okay, Usman, thank you for joining us today.
How's the day?
Fine, thank you. So tell us your opinion. Thank you, Usman. Tell us your take, please.
I don't have anything to say because I'm just opening the TV, but I want to say hi to you and continue the good job you are doing over there, people.
Okay.
It seems today Usela is not around. I don't know, maybe she's on leave or not.
Yeah. Yeah, she's fine. I would extend your regards. Thank you so much, Usman from Yola, for calling. Okay, don't forget to call us on the number on your screen, and please tell us what are the causes and what could be the possible solutions for domestic violence. Yeah, good morning. We have another caller there. Please stay away from your TV set as you're calling us. Can you hear us? Good morning. Okay, I think we have to off that call because we keep getting feedback. Please, if you want us to talk, if you want us to hear what you're saying, stay away from your TV set or turn down the volume of your TV set. That way we can talk, please. This is a really serious problem that is eating the society, and we need to have a deep conversation. So it's not okay to hear yourself talk from the TV, of course. Jana, you were talking about laws and all that. And when it comes to, you know, law of these things, I feel like when they are extreme law, people get scared. Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, so what's your name and where are you calling from, please?
This is Yusuf Abakar Amana calling you from Niger State.
Okay, Yusuf from Niger State. So what are the causes and possible solutions to domestic violence?
Yeah, many causes, many things can cause domestic violence. You understand? Firstly, the is it temper? You hear some people, they will say they have high temper. You understand? They get angry very easily and all that. But the solution is what I would like to talk about. You understand?
Okay.
And part of what I felt is there should be a serious law binding on people that are engaging in that act. Because you cannot just see because you have a girlfriend or you have a wife, you just due to misunderstanding, you start to beat each other and all that. You understand? So, and I only think it's only in this country that you'll be finding such thing. If you travel out of the country, you hardly see where a husband will just molest the wife and all that. You understand? But the most important thing that I would say last is the women too should one respect their spouse, their husband, and do what he likes. You understand? Because most times you find out that maybe the husband has warned you that this thing I don't like it. That is the particular thing that a woman will. You understand? But that doesn't give you permission to
of course,
to start punching. Yes. So that is my little contribution this morning, and I'm very happy to talk to you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Yusuf, for calling in. Yeah, that's Yusuf from Niger. When he was saying that the women provoke sometimes, I'm like, but it doesn't
Whatever
justify.
was going through my mind was, thank God you said that.
Yes, he clarified. He said there is nothing that justifies. I remember a situation that we're watching a movie, and then my mom is like, there is no reason for you to hit my daughter. If she does something that you don't like, then come to me. I would rather do the hitting myself, but not you putting your hands on her. And you can never add it up the strength of a man or woman. But anyways, it's not just about gender violence against women. It's also against men too, because men go through the same situation. Okay, good morning.
Hello, good morning. I'm Hamza Umar calling you from Katsina.
Okay, Hamza from Katsina. Thank you for joining us. Yes. So what's your take on domestic violence?
Okay, let me first commend you for choosing this a very disturbing topic of discussion. When you talk about domestic violence, I think it is a global challenge and a global issue. It happens almost in every part of the world. But my own take, domestic violence causes a lot of problems, even sometimes even death, particularly in Africa. Or let me set example with my own country, Nigeria. In every household, or if you have a friend, a wife, a girlfriend, or everyone, sometimes you may have some kind of little misunderstanding. But the major problem is a psychological problem. If you have a problem, the religion of Islam teaches us, if you are provoked, if you are standing, you better sit down. If you are sitting down, you better lie down so that your temper will be cool. But unfortunately, sometimes domestic violence occurs due to the high rate of drugs abuse. Because as a responsible gentleman, how could you beat your wife? How could you abuse your wife if you are normal? But sometimes if you are drunk, you may be upset so that you will start beating your wife or abusing your wife. Or sometimes if you take a hard drugs, you can easily beat your wife. But the major problem occurs in the northern part of Nigeria due to poverty. When you come home, your wife asks you to feed your children, but you don't have a single naira, you may end up being provoked. So this problem is a global issue, but the major way to solve this problem is our religious leaders. I think a Muslim every Friday or every day go to mosque. Every Sunday Christian go to churches. So it is a high time for our religious leaders to make sure that they preach people. They even force people to stop domestic violence because it creates so many problems. How will you feel if you witness your daddy beating your wife? Or your mother, or your mother beating your daddy? You may feel something bad in your mind. So let me finally call on religious leaders and critical stakeholders, particularly community leaders and school. If possible, the school curriculum, the social studies teachers should try as much as possible to teach learners or students the danger and the problem of domestic violence, so that they will understand the danger, so that they will avoid domestic violence. Thank you very much, and we are absolutely proud of you, Trust TV. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hamza from Katsina, for that wonderful contribution. Okay, I agree with him. Just one thing that he forgot also is the parent. Because when children grow seeing their father hitting their mom or mom hitting their dad, they tend to duplicate that. So, yeah, parents.
Some of the interesting things he mentioned there that stands out is the issue of the drugs.
Yes, drugs. Hold on that thought. We have another caller there. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, what's your name and where are you calling from, please?
My name is Abdullah Shimakama Agerabi from Nasarawa State.
Okay, we have a caller from Nasarawa State. Thank you for joining us. So what's your take on the causes and solution of domestic violence?
Yes, the causes of domestic violence. In fact, I'm one of the victim of domestic violence. Yes, I have 2 wives. Yes.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Yes, I think it's lack of patience from both parties, both the husband and wife. You know, if you came together, you have to tolerate one another. Yes, because it also affects the psychological development of your children, because you cannot be fighting quarreling with your wife in the front of your children. They might be in school, but their mind will be at their children with their parents.
That is true. Indeed. Okay. Do you have more to say?
So let me share this experience with you.
Okay. Go ahead.
I have a wife and 4 children. Then I go ahead and added another wife. So when I added another wife, it got back for my first son. But before I realized, when that child is 7 months, she was pregnant. Just 7 months, she was pregnant. So when she came to me that she was pregnant, I was mad. I was like confused. How would she be pregnant when she has a baby of just 7 months? So I couldn't put her a word because I was totally mad. So for me to control myself, I didn't say a word to her. Before I realized, before I knew it, she took me to a court of law. Now, why would she told me that she's pregnant and I couldn't tell her anything? So that caused our separation. Now we are no more together. So you see, there is no tolerance, there is no patience. So the only thing I think that I'm able to resolve all this problem, all this mess, if you are together, please let's try and understand one another. Understanding is key in this issue of domestic violence. Because there is no how you are with your wife and you don't understand each other. You don't share common view. You don't even talk to your wife. You don't take for advice. She will just be seeing you doing your things. Even if she asks, you won't be able to explain anything to her. She's your wife, she's your partner. I think she's next to you. So that is my take on it. Your program this morning, wish you the best, and let's try and tolerate one another.
Thank you so much for that contribution, and we hope that you find a solution to your own problem, of course. Really sad really take sad, there. Actually. Now, when we talk about domestic violence, sometimes it doesn't even have to be physical, you know. It comes emotionally. You torture each other with insults and bad looks and all that. All that could hurt a lot of people. Okay, so we have another caller. Good morning.
Good morning. How's everything? How's the work?
Fine, thank you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, I'm Pastor James from Kaduna.
Okay, welcome Pastor. So tell us,
Hello?
please. Yes, we can hear you. Tell us what are the possible solutions for domestic violence.
Yes, that is what I actually want to contribute now.
Okay.
Good morning, lady.
Good morning.
Yes, yes, actually, this is a good topic. The husband and the wife must reason together. They love themselves before they marry each other. And we should not pick offense on each other time by time. Because there are situations whereby you can equally tolerate. That brings maturity. In Christian religion, they say it's man and the woman that marry. It's not boy and girl. So that maturity, that composition has to be there. The wife should know her position as a wife, and the husband should know his position as a husband. The Bible says husband must love and the wife must submit. There are some actually, even in Islamic religion and Christian religion, they bias in when they want to preach concerning marriage and particularly violence. What ignites violence is the wife says, I know better. The husband says, I know better. So they don't want to learn from each other. If learning is on one-sided, the change cannot take effect. Teacher must be there, then the learner. When the learner listens, there must be change. Change must take effect. So as a woman, you should abide by the rules and regulations of marriage. As a man, you should abide by the regulation of marriage as well. Know your position. As a Muslim, there are rules and regulations written for marriage. As a Christian, there are rules and regulations for marriage. So when you say, I know better, violence must come. When somebody will say that maybe the husband is a mad person or maybe it's not in sense or is not correct in the brain, that is why he can stand up and slap the wife, or the wife can stand up and then slap the husband or beat the husband. That is actually not to partake. There must be something wrong. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
There is something wrong in between. And that in between is Satan the devil. Satan ignites everything. Satan motivates everything. But God himself brings in peaceful coexistence. You say, no, tolerate your husband. You love him before you marry him. Tolerate your wife. You love her before you marry her. No one is infallible. I can make mistakes part time. You can make mistakes part time. But when understanding comes, there are some things you tolerate, you avoid it. When your husband is very angry, keep off. When your wife is very angry, keep off. And then later you say, darling, maybe on the bed, when you people have a soft maybe relationship, you realize, then you tell her, darling, my wife, my husband, this what said last time is not proper. This what you did last time is not proper. And at last, if God bless the marriage with children, you said it before your husband, my children. You abused me. Yes, I knew I offended you, but you abused me before the children. It is not proper, and so on and so forth. But when you say you abused me before my children, I will abuse you also before your children. You understand? It means I know better. IKB can never help in marriage. So we should be avoiding IKB. I know better. No, you shouldn't. There are sometimes you act foolishly in marriage. Sometimes you act wisely in marriage. The occasion demands for any system of marriage. When the checks and balance, peaceful coexistence is inevitable in marriage. But when there is no check and balance, violence is inevitable in marriage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor James from Jos. Okay, first, yes, he made a lot of points, Dana. First one I want to say was him insisting on, he came to represent the religious leader and saying that we need to make more awareness, create more awareness, and religious leaders are not really fair. We grew up seeing, say, the Christians before marriage, 6 months, there is counseling and all that. But when it comes to the Islam part, we only see the women keep getting chastised. Do it. Listen to your husband. Do this. But there is no forum. There is no provision for the men also to get told, like, these are things that you should do and these are things you shouldn't do. Manage your anger. You're the head. And if you're the head, you're supposed to acquire a lot of knowledge when you're going to it. Marriage is like a war. You're going to a war. You need, to be set. You need to come with, you need to come prepared. So if you don't, oh my God, I think we have another caller there.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, can you hear us? Okay, I think we lost that caller there. So as I was saying about what Pastor Jim said, he said, so these are things that we need to create more awareness to.
Sure.
And parents, of course, need to tell their child, like, it's not about you being right all the time. He mentioned that, that sometimes you can be the wise one. Sometimes you can be the foolish one.
Okay.
Okay, so we have another caller. Good morning.
Hello?
Yeah, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Kelvin. I'm calling from Kaduna.
Sorry, Godwin from?
Kelvin, calling from Kaduna.
Okay, Kelvin from Kaduna. Thank you for joining us, Kelvin. So what are the possible solutions that you think we could use to handle domestic violence?
Okay, well, there are many causes that I can go to a short solution.
Okay.
The solution, I feel, as we are getting educated, we should create a room whereby we should be studying about relationship in school, from primary education to higher education. So by the time we pass through all these stages, primary school, secondary school, and then higher education, we should know about each other. Then when we get married to each other, we live better. And anything violent, it will minimize.
Sure.
So I feel that is the best solution.
Okay.
And then some of us that they are going into intermarriage, all these solutions will be solved as the process of we going into marriages. We learn about relationships, how to live with one another, and then we should encourage intermarriage. We shouldn't be saying, it's not my language, it's not from my state, it's not my religion. We should be taught all these things in school. Because some people, you can find out they are educated, but they are novice into relationship. They don't know how to manage their anger. They don't know how to communicate. In fact, they lack a lot of things. So because of that, you see, they have issues. Immediately they get married, they have issues. And they cannot manage their anger, they cannot even communicate. They go into violence. On the process of learning how to live together, you see, you will discover that you people do not match. You are just trying to impress each other, pretending to belong to each other, which there's nothing in common for you people to live together. So you discover that the end of it is violence, and then you fall apart. So that is what I think should be a better solution.
Okay.
We should, we should educate ourselves right from primary school.
Okay.
We should groom ourselves how to relate well.
That's true. Thank you so much, Kelvin from Kaduna, for
Thank
that
you.
wonderful thing. Nana, you agree with him?
Yes, I do, because, when you teach a child at a young age what they should do, there's a huge tendency that they might not deviate from that teaching. So mostly, but then what you teach a child should not be different from what they see. Because if they see something else and you tell them something else, the tendency is that they will do what they see and not do what you say. So that should go hand in hand. When you say it, make sure you practice it at home and then they see. And also in school, like some of our callers have said, make sure it's taught in school.
That's true, from the scratch. Okay, we have another caller there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm Aladi Imran, calling from Lagos, Ikeja.
Okay, thank you for joining us from Lagos.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
About the topic that you people are saying, first and foremost, domestic violence, you have it in different ways. There are some times that if a woman and a man marry together, when they are together, from the initial stage, they will be together for so many years. But in other ways, the woman or the man may have a strong-head woman, or the man too may have a strong-head woman, a man. If they are joined together, they may likely have domestic violence every day. But in other ways, if the man is a cool-tempered man and the wife too is hot-tempered, the moment anything, small thing comes out, the woman will just raise up her voice. And if the husband is petting her down, she will not. And that one can bring domestic violence. The same thing applies to a man too. If the man is a hot-tempered somebody and the woman too is a cool-tempered, it will bring misunderstanding between both of them. And two, there are some other things that comes from this domestic violence. So it will come from maybe the families or the thing. There are some, so to say that there are some women, if they are in-laws, maybe the father of the husband or the mother of the husband will come and he will not like this thing. But whenever the families of that the wife comes, he will like the husband to be fair with them. And that's not, it shouldn't be like that. We are all together. If you are a Muslim, you have to be a Muslim. If you are a Christian, you have to study. Now that Christians is marrying Muslims, Muslims is marrying a Christian, we have to come together. But we are having a word of changing. Because in our forefathers and foremothers, in the olden days, we lived together. Our father can marry about 3 or 4. There wouldn't be problem. They will live together and then be happy. But now, if we try it, we have different type of women and we have different type of men. That we believe that I'm a good Muslim or I'm a good Christian. It's within their mouth. It's not within their heart. Muhammad, when she was alive, he married a wife of Edison. But they lived together. Whenever one wants to do this thing, he will call her and say, "Oh boy, just it's a special." But not in this present world, my dear sister. Not in this present world. No matter what the woman, even if she's a pastor or pastorian, if a little thing happens, he will not take it easy with his husband. Look, there was a friend of mine. One day I visited him. Then the wife, just a minor something. When I read there, we were together laughing and this and that. Just a small misunderstanding. The woman have to change. Because look at me, I have to allow my friend to follow me out. Because if I leave the man in, I don't know what will happen. Because the woman was saying that anything can happen. That anything can happen, that particular word, it means a lot. So I have to tell my friend, "Oh boy, follow me." And in the time that the woman heart will come down, the same thing applies to men too. No, it is only Almighty God that will save us in this domestic violence. There are so many type of things. Not that maybe man and woman will be there. No, there are so many. What is called a husband can bring a domestic violence within the husband and wife. You understand? So in fact, it's only God and the prayers. God will give you your husband. God will give you your wife. Let us pray for that. But the moment a satanic entered, because there are some certain things that a woman will go out and then the friends, a fat woman who is a forward something, who believes in Almighty God, Almighty Allah, will think twice if she goes out and the friends advise her that look, this what how much your husband give you. The wife to say, the woman will say, my husband, they will just treat the woman. She will get an upset listen. So the moment you reach home, in that annoyance, if you ask the husband, look, I need to say this, husband say, look, But you have been living for so many years. It's what the woman will start and it will bring domestic violence. So it is only God that can control us in this domestic violence. Thank you very welcome.
Okay, thank you, Elijah from Lagos. Yes, Elijah said a lot of things, but it still boils down to, you know, tolerance and religiously, if you're angry, just like I think a caller said, you should, if you're standing, you should sit. If you're sitting, you should lie down. If you're angry, you move out. Just walk away from that quarrel. And if one person is high, then the other person needs to be low.
There's no need to even talk when you're angry. When you're angry, it's better to just walk away, because anything you do at that point might be something you would regret for a long time.
That's true. Lots of people, you know, there's a lot of stakeholders in this matter. There's a lot of people that need to contribute in order to avoid domestic violence. For example, we have the teachers, society, parents, you yourself. Okay, I think we have a caller, and this would be the last call. So who is that lucky person? Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Michael. I'm calling from Ibadan.
From?
From Ibadan, yes.
Oh, Ibadan.
You're welcome.
Okay, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. I think domestic violence is triggered by a variety of reasons. The most important is the fact that men are born with superior physical ability. And you don't challenge somebody that cannot beat. That's just one of it. And another thing is that a lot of people are brought up in dysfunctional, from dysfunctional family backgrounds, where their parents were used to beating each other. I don't have a lady once said that if a man did not beat her, that man did not love her. So these are a clear evidence of the fact that such person was brought up or was raised from a background that was quite dysfunctional. Now, solution. There are I think we have adequate laws to take care of the problem, but the major issue we have is the implementation of those laws. If you look at it very well, there are quite a number of laws which I consider quite adequate to tackle the problem of domestic violence. But how are these laws implemented? Very horribly. Most times when cases of domestic violence are reported at the right places, they begin to call people to come in a round table conference. It's a family issue, this and that, certain things to be affected, and so on and so forth. So a lot of statements is brought into it. So what we have to do now as parents is to begin to show good example to the children that we are raising. For instance, when I was brought up, I never saw my father beat my mother before. So as I got married, obviously, that inequality is being transferred to my kids. I will never beat my wife, no matter what. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Interesting caller there. Last caller from Ibadan. Yes. Dana, let's wrap up this domestic violence thing. What's your take on this domestic violence thing and the solution?
You know, I think, like you said earlier, a lot of stakeholders are involved in this. We have family members, besides the nuclear family, could be stakeholders, because a lot could come from outside also. And then when you talk about the laws, like our last caller rightly said, implementation is a problem, because a lot of states have domesticated this VAP Act, and it's like, it's there, but then people don't even know that the laws exist, because so we should do a lot about publicizing and letting people know their rights and what they should do if they fall into cases like this, and also implementation, because we need to see people being punished for what they have done. That's so that could serve as a deterrent to others.
That's true. Yeah. And of course, please, we need to work on it. If you need counseling, go for counseling, because you need to manage your temper. You can't go around hitting everybody that disagrees with you. If you're a lady, you're a lousy lady. So go out there and look for help. If you're a guy, go out there and look for help. If you love someone, there is no way your first thought is when you're angry with that person is to hit that person. It doesn't make sense at all.
And to me, this culture of men should bottle up. And I think we have to talk about this also, because men should learn to open up. If you see the reported cases, it's sadly news that women are mostly victims, women and girls. But the flip side is men are also victims of that. So I think men should come up and talk.
Okay, so we happen to just want to pick one last call because a lot of calls have been coming in, but I guess we lost that caller. I wanted to hear, from a lady to tell us more about.
Because we've not had that.
Yes, the guys have been calling in to say a lot about this issue, and this issue is something that honestly I hope that maybe another time we get to bring this and we get to have more solutions, to open the line. But of course, we have to stop here on the calling in on domestic violence. Do not go anywhere. When we come back, the show continue. Stay with us.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Treated a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at English squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I call wedding applause. Special performance for special people. Like you, like a couple. The mothers, they success.
An interesting video right there, of course, about exploring dance in Nigeria. Okay, so dance was explored in the ancient times as expression of celebration, fertility, and social recreation, which has not changed till date. Some professional dancers say in view of numerous benefits of dance, some economic benefits could be achieved also through proper exploration of dance, mostly among the youth, considering the unbearable situation of unemployment in the country. So with us in the studio is Michael Okoye. He is the founder of a dance group called Magic Steppers, and he is here to tell us how challenging it is, you know, to explore dance in Nigeria. So welcome, Michael Okoye.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Walk us through this video that we just watched. What happened? What was the situation?
That was a wedding.
Okay.
You know, so we got invited to, you know, do a performance at a wedding, you know, to entertain the guests, and so because we're into the business of dance and performance, so we got that invite to perform at that wedding, and as you can see, it was an exciting one. So it's what we do basically. We're a dance outfits based here in Abuja. You know, we've been on for a couple of years, but professionally, I would say we've been on since 2013. So we are celebrating 10 years on stage this year, sometime towards the end of the year.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting. So how did it start, this journey? I mean, we've seen situations where, our African parents would see a particular, kind of, should I say, a craft, and look at it like, don't tell me you plan on using this to sponsor yourself, to take care of yourself, to survive all through life.
Yes,
so how has it been?
It was tough. It is still tough for a couple of people, but for us, then we started when dance was taken as an act for those who have the plans to be dropout. That was how dance was seen when we started doing it. There was nothing good coming out of it. We really had a few mentors that were doing it right. Credit to people like Kafi, they were the ones doing it right. They set the pace that a couple of us followed. So for our parents who were educated and saw you dancing on the road or in one venue, and then even before you get home, somebody has called your parents. Hello, Mama Michael. I don't know, it looks like it's your boy I saw here. And there's lots of questions to answer when you get home. But we had to, it's one of the hurdles you must face to make them see that thing you believe in. Because a lot of us believed in this and we believed we could earn a living, we could make a life, a career out of this dancing. So one of the things we needed to do as a clearance phase was convince your guardians or your parents to see what you're seeing. So for a few of us, we're able to get our parents and loved ones to see that we're not just dancing because we don't want to go to school. By the way, I'm a graduate of microbiology and biotechnology, so dance never stopped me from being a professional in my career. It was just, dance was passion. There's passion, there's profession. So a lot of times, there are lots of passionate people. Example, Faust the Bad Guy is a renowned lawyer, but I mean, the music pays the bills more. So just that's how it is for us. So I am a dancer, but I'm also a microbiologist. So getting my parents to see that what I'm doing is not a waste of time was, one, I had to go to school. So the moment I got into school and I was doing okay with school, so they saw that the dance is not affecting my education. And so they were able to key in and say, so long as you can strike a balance, you have a go ahead. And so times passed and gradually started to see that their boy dancing on the streets, on TVs, on platforms like this, on NTA and the rest of them. So they were like, dance can put you on this kind of platform. Go ahead, do your thing. And then it went from there to where they started to see returns that, okay, you're not just dancing and wasting your time. It was beginning to bring in monetary value, awards, opportunities, and so we're here today.
Wow. Okay, so how was it, should I say, now we're talking about the topic of, exploring it, and our society even, we've seen societies like India where like dancers earn a lot of money. So Nigeria is, I think we're getting to that stage, but it's still fizzle, it's still hard. So how difficult is it, exploring dancing and gaining from it?
Well, for me, I'll speak from my personal experience. I might not agree with a lot of people, but the dance, for me, it comes in two phases. There's passion and there's business. So at that beginning phase, you're very passionate. You just want to dance. Somebody should get you to that event, get me to that party, give me the stage, let me just perform. And then as you advance, you get to realize that, okay, I've been dancing and there's no food at home. And there's somebody waiting for me. So how do I make something out of this dance? You now start to understand that there's a business side to it. Do you understand? So dancers get good payments, get good jobs, get good endorsements, platforms, opportunities, yes. But you have to harness it from dance just being a talent and take it from that talent and passionate stage to a business and professional stage. Somebody calls you, dancer, come, we have one event, come and dance. So I'm asking you, what's the budget? What are we talking about? And you're like, we will give you food when you come. And I'm like, okay, the sneakers I wear to dance, your food will not get it for me. I wear costumes, because if I'm dressed if I'm not dressed right, there are places you cannot access, because a lot of times your branding does a lot of work for you, because there's a way you appear as a dancer, as a dance group, as a dance company, and then even before you tell them what you do, somebody's already welcoming you into the event. You know, they're like, okay, sorry, who are you guys coming? And you say we're dancers, and the mindset they have about dancers is some young man that just folds one trouser up, puts one cap at the back with one black singlet on the street. So when you brand yourself, one, it gives you a lot of, you know, you're received properly. And then there's the phase where you have to, I tell every dance artist that there are phases in this project. The first one is to discover yourself, you know. That's the phase where you have to convince yourself that I want to dance. I want to make a living out of this. And then the next phase is you putting yourself out there. That's where you need platforms. Any opportunity that you can do something so that the right person can see you. Because there are a lot of people that are in need of dancers, but they don't know where to get them. Probably the ones they've seen are the ones just on the road doing it anyhow. And that doesn't speak well for the kind of brand that they represent. So they have no idea that there are those that fit into that your brand nicely. And they're looking for them, but there's no platform.
Okay, that's actually going to be the next question that I would ask. Talking about a platform, do dancers in Nigeria, because you've talked about prominent dancers like Kafi, and then do you have like a body or an organization that dancers subscribe to in Nigeria?
Yes, there's the Guild of Dance Nigeria. It's called GOND. So they regulate the activities of dancing. Even though that whenever there's a body, they will still have those that oppose what the body is doing, but there is a body that governs the activities of dance. They make sure that before you as a dance group or as an individual dancer go on stage, there are certain criteria you meet.
Okay.
Yeah, so brand-wise, talent-wise, technicality and all of that, there's a certain standard you have to get to before they can take you and put you on a certain brand. I don't want to call names, there are certain brands that will have events, and before you can come on that stage, there's a vetting process you have to go through. They have to be sure that you've done something for a similar kind of brand or you're good enough for their stage. That's why a lot of times when certain brands call you, you hear questions like, where have you performed before? Can I see what you've done before? And so if you show them videos of platforms that are equally as good, and then they can see that, okay, you've done something this good, yeah, they can be willing to bring you up and pay you good. Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of the challenges for you dancers? Because you've given me a picture of the corporate dancers and the roadside dancers.
Yes.
So what are some of the challenges for you, the corporate dancers?
All right. There's that mindset that is dance.
Okay.
We can have a Wizkid on this event. He will come to your show. All the songs he's going to perform, you've heard them more than 10 times before. And then you still pay through your nose. But there's a dance company that is going to put 20 dancers on stage. And then you feel like it's dance. So you're giving them less than a quarter of what you're giving to one artist. And then if you call me today to perform and I dance to a certain song, if you want to have me tomorrow, I come back to do that same dance, you won't bring me again because you'll say, there's lack of creativity. I've seen this before. But if you have a Wizkid and he performs Holla at Your Boy today, and tomorrow he comes here again with one standing mic and chair, you will still receive it with so much excitement. So one, there's that, they feel like we're not good enough. We don't deserve the money. We work harder than every other sector, every other entertainment body. Because as a singer, yes, they put in so much work at the studio, maximum credit, but they can just sit down the way I'm seated with one mic and just sing to you. You know, you won't even move a muscle, and then you're fine. But I cannot sit down here and just do like this. No. Every part of my body is going to get to work. I will roll on the floor if need be. From here, one movement has taken me to the door, I'm back. There's acrobatics and all of that, and they feel like we're not good enough. So there's that challenge of, you don't deserve my money. Why should I pay you to be on my stage? So they don't see the number of work we put in. That's a huge challenge. And secondly, they feel like a company is same as one. If, for instance, they have 10 artists on ground for an event, you are one artist, he's one artist, there is a dance group of 20 people, and they are giving you ₦1 million. They are comfortably give you 1 million, and give the 20 persons in a group 1 million. So I don't know if they feel like these 20 persons sleep in one house, wear the same outfit. So that's a major challenge for the dance industry. It's one of the things we face today. But thanks to certain brands, it's been corrected. So there are brands that pay decently for dance companies to come on board and dancers do adverts now, do commercials, which was not common before. We have dancers doing commercials for corporate bodies, corporate brands, and it's what we prayed for. And it's beginning to happen, so we're excited about that.
So how is the marketing? Like, how does it come? How often do you get businesses?
Well, like you said, marketing goes a long way. And one of the ways you can market yourself is the use of social media. So that's why we have Instagram, there's TikTok, there's Twitter. For instance, you can just dance to a Davido song. It has happened a lot of times. You do a dance to, he drops a song today, tomorrow, you jump on that song, you do a very nice dance cover to it. You could be blessed. He gets to see it. Some of the top bloggers will just repost it. Before you know it, you're all over social media. And then someone is sending you a DM. We saw something about this online. Can we meet with you? And then before you know it, somebody's, because certain brands come to you for different reasons. If you have the numbers, for instance, if you are a good influencer, you have numbers on social media, and this brand, they have an opportunity, they want something that will drive traffic to them, and you have that numbers to drive that traffic, you're swimming in money already. Yeah. So at some point, it's not even all about your skill, how good are you, business-wise, because you have the numbers, you earn better than the person who is a good dancer. I don't want to call names or belittle anyone, but there are certain dancers that are judging those who trained them because they were able to harness the use of their social media. They had that numbers, got that publicity. And so those brands are working with those numbers because if, for instance, if the brand wants you to market this and you have 1 million followers on Instagram, but you're not so good at dancing, and you can just throw your body around and say, yeah, daily trust, and then on your you have that traffic going on. They'd rather pay you to do that thing for them because they know that you will drive that traffic than giving the guy who is so skilled, but you won't bring any returns at the end of the day. So
now, Sumaya, talking about skill, guess what? I've been thinking about how you generate those dance moves, because if you look at everything that's been going on in the world of dance, it looks like we've seen it all. And then tomorrow you see something else.
More innovation.
So how do you guys get all of those moves and not repeat what you do?
That's the reason why this brand should pay us. Because we sleep in the studio. Sometimes it's a creative process. Creativity comes from anything. I can look at these lights, for instance, the way it's positioned. One of the buttons are going this way, and then you just do something like this because you saw the light. And before you know it, I like that. Someone can just tell, I like that. You can show me what I did. Something comes out of it. And then you post it and give it a name. It's the mic move. And then it's trending on social media, the mic move. That's something you just sat down to create. But it's one thing to create it. It's another thing to be able to put it out and make it something good. So a lot of work goes into creating that process. Brands come to you and tell you, we have this jingle, we want to throw out a dance challenge so we can drive traffic, but we don't want something we see every day. They don't want you to do a popular move that they already know. We know Booga. So don't do any of those. Come up with something we've not seen. So to you, they just give it to you because they feel like you are the dancer. Do it. So we have to go back to the dance studio. We have to sleep on it. You listen to the song. What does the lyrics say? What's the message behind that song? And then with that, you're trying to, let's say the song has something about daily trust is the best. Daily trust. What can you do now to portray daily trust? You just stay and you just come up with something, move your head, and you showed the person and like, I like it, I've not seen this before. But that took you a lot of creative process. You probably have been in the studio morning till evening. You try this one, it didn't work. You sit down, you wait for a bit, you try again, filming, and then at the end of the day, you come up with that, and then it works. So a lot of creativity and deep thinking goes into the process.
Okay, so considering, you say that it has to be top brands that pay better. What about the small, like the weddings that you're getting? Do you have another source of income, or is this the only channel you have, with your group?
Yes, so a lot of time when they say how many sources of income, it looks like after dancing, you have to go and do something else. But I can tell you from my experience that even in the dance, you can have various streams of income. In the dance, they have fast and rising artists who release songs, and then because they just drop those songs, they want those songs to trend, and they know that one of the best ways to make something sell is to put dance to it. So a lot of times they throw out challenges. They're giving out 500,000, 200,000, make a dance video to my song, do something. So there are those who have channeled their energy into that's what as like making, videos for artists for songs like that. And then there are those who are very highly booked in the act of performances. So they get a lot of engagement. There's a birthday party happening somewhere, they want them to entertain. There's a wedding happening somewhere, they want you to entertain. Dancers also go into costuming. There's certain kind of costuming you want to do for after parties, for themed events. So one can have a wedding and she wants let's say, a Coming to America themed kind of after party where she wants to see that whole South African feel, the royalty. So it's not just you coming to do your everyday dance move now. So you're being paid to give me a concept, create this idea for me, and I'll pay you for it. Just send your invoice. So even as a dancer, you can be earning money from doing a normal performance at a birthday party. And as a dancer, you have an iPhone, you're also making videos. You're a good videographer. So you create content as well, you make money from there. And so there are also dancers who also do 9 to 5. So they are able to balance it such that by 8 they are at work, 3, 4 they are back, by 5 they are in the studio. Some are taking fitness classes at various locations too, so there are multiple streams of ways you can. So if you want to rely on just performing on stage, you have to really be good to get that much invite and get that huge amount as well.
A really interesting one. It seems like Michael has, mastered his craft.
Yeah,
exactly. Because you made a dance a whole source of income. You have like a stream. It's like the networking where you see someone having different kinds. So even in dancing now, people know that you can also do this and do all sorts of things in order to have multiple streams, which is really amazing. So Michael, lastly, just give the younger generations that are coming up and are looking at these things and they don't know how it really works and they really want to make a name for themselves with this career.
All right. So first thing first, discover yourself. Be sure that even when this dancing is not giving you all the money you expect, you still find fulfillment doing it. Because even if you grow from that passionate stage to the professional stage, what happens when you don't now see that money you expect? It's like a business. Some days it's low, some days it comes the way you expect. So those days when it comes slow, will you just give up because it's not giving you the money? So there needs to be passion. It's that passion that will keep you even the days when it's not coming as expected. And it's also okay to have something else on the side. You must not depend solely on dance. So as you grow, understand the phase where you are, understand the situation of the economy, and then be smart enough to know that at this point, I need to back this dance up with something else. Because there are a lot of dancers you see driving exotic cars. I can tell you for free that it's not dance that gave them the money they used in buying those cars. They have some other businesses on the side. I know a lot of dancers that in the evening they have they are at one event performing, but in the daytime or they have their shops where they sell hairs, where they sell clothes. So when this one is not exactly giving me something, the shop is open. We need to have something there. So if the shop is not open, somebody's making an order. Hello guys, I want you guys to do a dance cover to my song. So be creative, put yourself out there. Take advantage of social media. It does a lot of good. These days, you just have to put your content there. Somebody watching will reach you. Example, just post a video, write hashtag Abuja Dance Group. So somebody comes into the town and they want to do an event. They don't know anybody who dances. They go on social media to just type Abuja Dance Groups. And then somehow, because you've put a lot of content online, once they put in that hashtag, like 10 of your videos are coming out already, and like, okay, they go to your bio, somebody's sending you a DM, can we get a contact, can we have a meeting? And before you know it, from your home, you're getting a call for the next event in 2 days. So it works. It's just discover yourself, be sure that is what you want to do, because there will be days when it wouldn't be as you expect. You know, for instance, during the COVID era, a lot of dancers changed their careers because they were in platforms to dance for a couple of months. And then, you know, out of sight is out of mind. So you need to constantly put it there. There are days when there's no event coming. You have to keep putting out content, you know, because suddenly there will now be a time. I'll give you an example with my team. During the period of election, immediately after election, it was the fasting period. So there weren't too many events happening at that time, but we're dishing out content back to back. The moment election and fasting finished, the calls were numerous, but we're already prepared. So in a day, you can get 4 events. You just delegate 5, 6 dancers, go and hold this place, go this side. So you spread yourself, and then, you know, it's coming in from here, from here. You're already buying a land, you know, you start building your house.
So I think I have one more question. So what do you think the future of dance would be for Nigeria? Where is it right now, and what would the future hold for dance in Nigeria? To the world now.
Yes. Okay, first of all, we are not where we were 10 years ago, 5 years ago. It has gotten better, and it's getting better. You know, the dance is like the entertainment industry generally. It's like the new oil. So we're calling on corporate bodies, strong and great individuals. Please key in. It's worth investing in, I promise you. Because where it's going to right now, you're calling a dance artist and you're paying the same thing you pay a music artist. So take advantage of us now before we get too expensive. Now we're still fairly affordable. So key in, and we promise you won't regret it, because there's nothing dance cannot do. Whatever message you want to sell, whatever message you want to portray, dance can do it. So key in now, and then trust me, you'll be happy you did.
All right. Thank you so much, Michael Okoye. Michael, the Magic Street,
Steppers.
Yes, Magic Steppers. Yes. Of course, he's the founder of Magic Steppers Dance Crew. Thank you so much for coming in to give us the insight on dance and exploring, of course, the challenges in Nigeria. And with that, of course, we bring you the end of today's show of Daybreak Extra. We hope that you were enlightened, you were entertained, and of course, you learned a lot, a great deal, because I'm sure the show was full packed with a lot of knowledge here. Yes, I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you so much for watching. And do not forget, please stay tuned, because Adeni Ajishafe will be coming in with sport news. Stay with us.
And I am Dana Daniel Ziggy. Thanks for having this time with us.